in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Voila, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hippies and straights around the world. This is Dr. John Konopak down in Albuquerque, New Mexico, citizen journalist with today's Citizen's Dispatch, Why Spy? Here's a question for those of you who would shutter the NSA and other intelligence gathering agencies. Objectively, in the real world of nuclear politics and global oil and big money, why wouldn't anybody bug everything and everyone that they could? Especially when knowing that everybody else is trying to do the same thing to you. That's pretty much how intelligence gathering works. You scoop up everything and hope there's a nugget or two of useful information somewhere in there. Back in my day in the NSA, we used to use antennae, which were pointed where we wanted to listen, and that's what we heard pretty much. But today's satellites only point down from the heavens, and down here everything's audible. Realpolitik is about power. It's a bitch when you're on the receiving end of it too, and there's this bit of realpolitik in the intel business to consider. Knowledge really is power, especially in statecraft. And information is the raw material of knowledge. Now, you probably wouldn't want your state, your nation, to have an information deficit in its dealings with other sovereign states, would you? You wouldn't want the government not to know what the Ruskies are doing, or what the Iranians are up to, or who the Israelis are screwing this week. Not knowing would be foolishness, where the fate of the world and civilization is often quite literally in the balance. Ignorance is right on the brink of irresponsibility there, because in fact the world is a really pretty damn dangerous place. So everybody spies on everybody else. How could it be actually otherwise? You know, Lyndon Johnson knew via illegal telephone taps that Nixon and Kissinger were sabotaging the Paris peace talks in 1968, but couldn't reveal it because it was illegally obtained information. So it's been alleged anyway. So too I imagine that Jimmy Carter, via the same expedients of illegal surveillance, probably knew that Bill Casey and George H.W. Bush were in Paris meeting with the mullahs to sabotage any prospective October surprise, but couldn't or wouldn't blow the whistle on the Ray Gooners' treason for the same reason, and that was that it was illegally or ill-gotten information. So nobody's really unhappy when government spies on its enemies or antagonists. No worries there. It just gets touchy when you begin to feel like maybe you're the subject of all that power. And NSA has spied and spies upon everybody. It certainly does. That's its job, its mission, its purpose. The superpower world of realpolitik, it's just not possible to run an empire, which is what we have, without nearly total supervision and surveillance, both domestic and abroad. And it won't stop, despite all the laws, regulations, and rules that Congress can make up. There will still be plenty of room for exceptions. The rule, law, and regulation makers themselves will see to that. Remember total information awareness from the bad old days of the Bolsheviks? It went away after being exposed, right? Well, only it was just renamed into something a little bit more innocuous. It didn't actually go away. The government has just completed a multi-billion-dollar, multi-million square foot facility for information processing out in the Utah desert. What does anyone suppose they're going to do there? Have rodeos or soccer matches? Technically, I suppose spying on your own people is probably ethically questionable. But states and governments don't have morals. They don't do ethics. The U.S. government has been spying on its own citizens since the Gilded Age in the 19th century. Mostly its targets have been on the margins of society, people like the Wobblies or the communists or the anarchists or the labor movement or civil rights activists, etc., hippies, you know. Recently, until recently anyway, nobody much gave a damn. Now, however, everyday citizens are starting to feel the pinch of a marginality and are becoming uncomfortable. Well, life's a bitch and payback's even worse. In it, hippies. See you at the beach.